manufacturers and distributing companies. And now patients are being left without their sedatives. They are being left without IVs. That means people dying of cancer have no IVs. They don't have diapers. As most of you know, I'm quadriplegic after being getting my COVID shot, my Moderna shot. I became paralyzed for life. I have no bladder function. I have no bowel function. They're not getting urine bags to people, meaning they don't have a way to pee. They're not getting catheters out to people, meaning people are getting infections, and they are overloading the ERs. This is because people are normally supposed to be treated at home palliatively if that's what they need and that's what they want. And now this can't happen. This is not just affecting palliative care patients. This is affecting everyone, including myself. We don't have supplies. That means that there are people that if they need diapers or pull-ups, or they don't have them, and they're just supposed to crap in their pants. Nurses are being overwhelmed by this problem. They're having to take supplies from one patient's house to another, which is normally very taboo and very unheard of and not acceptable. This is an Ontario-wide crisis. Something needs to be done about this. The government is saying that they're going to do something about this. Something needs to be done about this now. People should be talking about this. If you don't think it's going to affect you, someone you know or you will be sick one day, and this will affect you. Don't think it won't. Act now, speak out.
So for everybody who doesn't know who Kayla Pollock is, welcome to the channel, I guess, because Kayla, I talk about her often. She is a Canadian woman who was rendered a quadriplegic after having taken the Moderna booster after 2 Pfizer jabs. And we've had her on, when she explained her story. She explained how first doctors were denying her condition, saying it was psychosomatic, mental. Then they offered her maids, medical assistance in dying multiple occasions, unsolicited. And this is her journey now that she has been forced to take as a result of the idiots and the corrupt nincompoops that we have in power. I'm going to share the link with everybody so that you can follow her on Twitter, support her if you can. I know she's got a Give, Send, Go, which I'll bring up, but periodically have to remind the world that, while we move on, I say move on to different stories. The stories that we cover, the stories that we touch are real people who are going through this 24/7, and the news cycle moves on, things come up, and they're left fending for themselves, literally fighting against a government that literally is trying to kill them. Literally trying to kill them because it's cheaper to kill somebody than it is to maintain them. It's cheaper to kill in the Canadian healthcare system than it is to treat. And so why not? And it's absurd. While euthanasia goes through the roof in Canada, the healthcare system is in absolute shambles, as it's been for decades. The government now finally realized maybe unchecked immigration wasn't the best idea on earth. And now they're realizing, we got to tamp down on immigration because the systems are overloaded. And while we're at it, we're just going to try to make life a living hell for the people who are dependent on the government because it's cheaper to kill than to treat. Good afternoon. I wanted to make sure that I was live everywhere before I went too far into this. And I wanted to share the link to the tweet so that people can follow Kayla and her updates. Here, link to tweet there. And I seem to be having some problems on YouTube. Why, just yesterday, people, I had my Tampon Tim video approved for monetization. Now that story is thoroughly no longer in the news. LOLs. They know damn well what they're doing. And some people might call it interference of the election kind. But whatever, that's what you get for being on CommieTube. Everybody should hopefully be heading on over to Locals, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, or Viva Frei on Rumble. Here's a link to the tweet. Okay, peeps. So it looks like we're good across the board. Let me make sure that the audio is good and that our Locals community, how are we doing here? Beautiful. Audio is good. Okay, now let me minimize the screen here, and then we're going to get into the show. So late today, although fortunate that I can get the stream out because I was with the Unusual Suspects, the episode shall be airing at 6 o'clock tonight. And I got to host because Vinny Oshana was with the PBD team up in New York. Apparently the World Series is going on now. I had no idea about that. So PBD had they had tickets to the game 4 or 5 or whatever the heck's going on. I guess New York is playing. If it's the Yankees or the Mets, I'm not sure. And I got to host, and it was a good episode. So give it a watch at 6 o'clock. I'll blast the link around and tell me what you think. And in the meantime, just the world keeps spinning. Chicanery afoot in Pennsylvania. Joe Biden calling half of America garbage. And oh my God, it's atrocious. And there's actually been some court rulings out of Pennsylvania as relates to the botched early voting. But Trump trash here. Yes, I like it. See, I'm trying to think of the best way to actually convert that into merchandise or something that is like a memento. Proud to be garbage. I like. But then they're going to say, Viva's proud to be garbage. And I don't give a sweet bugger all anymore, but there is something is in here, a moment to capture. Deplorables became the thing, and it was great. Garbage. Someone smarter than me who can do better hashtags, maybe cat turd, he'll figure out how to do it. All right. Before we even get into the show, people, we got to thank our 2 sponsors, Rumble partners. We've got Be Naked and 5G Free. Be Naked, by the way, speaking of, being a man, which we're talking about a lot these days, as opposed to being garbage. Oh gosh, some of these comment sections were like, the only people upset are white men. Okay, well, that's you still don't want to piss off half the country. Doesn't matter. These days, it seems like society wants to turn men into soft, tofu-eating cuddle machines. Testosterone levels are tanking, and the world is pushing this weak hand-holding agenda. But if you're like, well, there's nothing really weak about hand-holding, but you want to be like, I can't even say a Schwarzenegger type man anymore. We're talking about Schwarzenegger today as well. He endorsed Kamala Harris. We'll get to that. But if you're the kind of guy who'd rather wrestle a bear than sip a soy latte, you need Naked Organs. This isn't some lab-made potion from the land of participation trophies. 100% bison organs, liver, kidney, heart, the stuff that put hair on your granddaddy's chest, packed with B12, iron, zinc. It's the antidote to low T and all the other nonsense out there. Keep your testosterone high and your masculine unapologetic. Go over to benaked.com, promo code VIVA. Gets you 15% off. It's a Rumble partner. Help build that alternate economy. BeNaked.com, promo code VIVA. And 5G Free is our other Rumble partner of the day. Help create and maintain and support the parallel economy and send your money where companies respect you, your principles, your values, and most importantly, your business. It's worse than getting scammed online, getting your data stolen while you're just walking down the street. In 2023, hackers with portable skimmers, can wipe your card info from 3 feet away without ever having to touch your wallet. They don't need a wiretap. They've got the tech to grab the data while you're waiting for your latte. That's why 5G Free created RFID blocking wallets. Think of it as armor for your credit card. They're not just regular wallets. They're block scanners that block thieves, scammers, and even lizard people that use your info after they've stolen it online. It's like giving your pocket a digital shield, stopping skimmers, preventing fraud, and keeping your hard-earned money safe. Head over to 5gfree.com, promo code VIVA. Gets you 15% off. Don't let these digital pickpockets get the upper hand. Lock your data down and stay one step ahead. 5gfree.com, promo code VIVA. Links are in the description. People, I was going to start with another video, but then Kayla Pollock's tweet came across my feed, and I was like, we have to remind people that people are still suffering out there, and they're still fending for their own existence. I'm going to play another montage. That was the original one that I was going to start with. But I'm going to read 3 Rumble chats. This is Jay Skriz says, hey, Viva, currently in New Jersey. I work with a group called the Liberty Project. We currently have a lawsuit against Merrick Garland and many others. The case is called Logan v. Garland. I will look into that. Screen grabbed it, and I've got your Viva Barnes Law username, so I can email you afterwards. Proud to be deplorable garbage if the opposite are demon rats, says Encryptus. I was going to say, dude, they're calling I don't like playing the identity card, but they're literally calling Jews Nazis. They really haven't thought this through. Pasha Moyer says, Viva, it's the Yankees versus the Dodgers in the World Series, so Mark Robert is emotionally invested in this. The Dodgers lead the series 3-1. First team to 4 wins the champ. Well, you think I didn't know it's a best of 7? How stupid do you think I am, Pasha? I'm joking. I just wish I could have gone to the future, gone back to the past, put a little money on the Cubbies. What did I just do here? The Dodgers. Oh, nobody's the Cubs in here. That's a Back to the Future 1 reference, or 2. What did you say? Wish I could go back in time. Put some money on the Cubbies. V6 Neon over in Rumble says, breaking info about South Park UK attacker was actually given. That being info about the poison gas and fireworks that he had as backup. He was a terrorist, but people were arrested for saying it. Southport, not South Park. I don't know what that story is. I'll have enough to find that out. All right, people. This is the big news of the day. Joe Biden, in an attempt to sabotage the campaign for Kamala Harris, in an attempt to overshadow Tony Hinchcliffe, calling the island of Puerto Rico a dirty island because they actually have landfill problems and garbage problems because they're an island and seemingly can't dispose of waste efficiently or with endless landmass. Joe Biden, deciding to shift the blame a little bit from there, says, you know what? Too many people are talking about Tony Hinchcliffe and his use of the term garbage. What I'm going to do, it's really going to help Kamala Harris. I'm going to take the deplorables and kick it up a notch. I'm going to take the Nazis and add to it. Because, you know, the Nazis, the deplorable Nazis wasn't enough. We need to get to the deplorable Nazi garbage. And Joe Biden said something outrageous that has now led some people to believe, not really seriously, but some people are hypothesizing that he's deliberately sabotaging Kamala Harris's campaign. Others say that he just can't control his mouth. I tweeted it. I will this into existence. I'm telling you, this is playing very well into my theory that after the election, Kamala Harris is going to lose. Joe Biden is going to pardon Trump, pardon Hunter, pardon himself, preemptively pardon FBI agents who are afraid of a Trump presidency, resign, give his failed presidency, the last 2 months of it, over to Kamala, not pardon Kamala, leave her in charge for the last 2 months, make her pardon herself, and then that's how he's going to give the two middle fingers to Kamala Harris, because by all accounts, Bongino, I believe him and I trust him, and I think I could tell this myself, he hates her and she hates him because she stabbed him in the back and he hates her for that. And then some trolls out there will say, Viva, what's Kamala crimes that she committed that she'd have to pardon herself for? Do you understand, like, if one wanted to build an argument of election fraud or just fraud, when she gets out and says, yeah, Biden's good for another 4 years, go donate to his campaign. Oh, what's that? Sleepy Joe, you got $100 million in your campaign? I'll take that from you now. So if she lied to the public, and there's easy ways to prove that she knew of his mental decline, and she lied to the public to sell them a candidate who she knew she was going to stab in the back. She fraudulently misrepresented his cognitive capabilities to the general public to haul in $100 million that she then stole by, politically speaking, stabbing him in the back. Could be election fraud. Could be FEC violations. Could be fraud in general. Look, to the extent they picked Trump and said, I'll find a crime, given that fact pattern, I'm sure a Leticia James could find a crime against Kamala Harris. The only difference being there's an actual fact pattern of fraud, misrepresentations, and fraudulent inducements. Because I guarantee you, but for Kamala Harris's fraudulent inducements, people don't donate quite as much money to Joe Biden's campaign, only for her to then literally steal it by changing the name of the campaign that holds the $100 million funds. It's a heist. It's a $100 million heist. So I hope that answers the question to any idiots out there who say, Viva's gone full commie, he just wants to lock people up. No, that fact pattern with Kamala Harris, an honest prosecutor, an honest district attorney or an attorney general, whichever one, could reasonably construe a case for fraudulent misrepresentations. In case anybody had any questions. But now what I wanted to start the show with, and then I switched it up, was psychopaths, just outright psychopaths. And then this woman in her reply section is like, I love it. It's only white men who are commenting and who are freaking out about this. Kate Samuels, don't know. She says, witty_shitty is her handle. I'm an artist in New Mexico, NFTs and watercolor. Good for her. All right, she posted this video, and it's 1 minute 17 seconds of insanity. It's 77 seconds of insanity. Listen to this. We're just going to pause after each lie of an absolute. I mean, this is beyond propaganda. You want to talk about a campaign that's based on fear? This is a campaign that is predicated, built on, based on, evolved from, and invoking fear, fear, and more fear. Let's hear one lie after another.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. I just don't know if I'll be able to own a credit card without my husband's permission in 7 days.
You know, now that I play this might be parody. This might have been a comedy. But I don't think it is. Because apparently well, you know what? I shouldn't even say that. Let me just see something here. Before I don't want to. What countries don't allow women to own credit cards? Today I learned that 72 countries prevent women from opening. Okay, let's see here. There are still 72 countries of 153 where some women, this might be a lie, I don't know, don't have the right to open a bank account or obtain credit. It's a question. Did you know? Oh, I don't know which 72 countries there are, but I can tell you they're not countries I'm moving to anytime soon. All right, so lie number one. Trump gets into power, he's going to strip women of their rights to own credit card. Okay.
Oh, did I get too political? My bad.
First of all, I just want to focus. This guy's got drug eyes. If I had to guess, I say drug eyes. Let's hear what he has to say.
I just don't know if I want to get rid of overtime in 7 days.
Oh, I've gotten too
Okay.
political? My bad. I just want to make sure I have access to birth control in 7 days.
Birth control or unfettered, unlimited abortion? Okay, let's just go.
Oh, I got too political. My bad.
You're a good
I
actor.
guess I don't know if I'm going to be a U.S. citizen in 7 days.
Well, are you a U.S. citizen now, you moron? Wait, maybe what he meant is he's an illegal now, and he doesn't know if he's going to be granted amnesty if Kamala Harris doesn't get in. Maybe that's what he meant.
Oh, I got too political? My bad. I'm just worried I won't be able to love who I love in 7 days.
Go, feel free, lady. Nobody's stopping that. Let's hear the next one.
Did I get political? My bad. I just don't want my mother to be denied her health care because she has a pre-existing condition.
Oh, I'm being too political? My bad. I'm just fighting for the future of my daughter.
Oh, I got
What future is that? Oh God, do we go through this? I'm quite. We're just. I don't want to play the whole thing because it's actually painful. Let's go to the end and see what happens here. That's a good way to freeze it. This is the type. I feel bad because maybe I'm just going to close this up. Nobody cares about watching this anymore. Maybe there are people out there who are as politically naive as I was a decade ago. And I have to be forgiving and loving on them because I was politically naive a decade ago. But this is what people think of politics. Like all one lie after another, but then there's people out there who hear it and that's it. That's what their understanding of politics is. Zumia says they're stupid. They're not just stupid. They are predictively hypocritical and predictively stupid. And when those two things come together, you can predict behavior almost better than they can. It's like, I tell my kids, I know you better than you do for the time being. That will not always be true. I know when you're hungry. I know when you're tired. No, I'm not hungry or tired. I'm just angry. No. I know when you're hungry or tired better than you do. A, you're a child. Your brain isn't developed yet. And B, you don't even connect your physical feelings with your emotional ones. I can predict what these idiots are going to do. Now, the garbage thing, we're going to get to it in a second, but I had a little fun because I come across a tweet. Let me just see if I can find the original. Don't look at it. Don't look at it, people. Here we go. Don't look at it. You know exactly where it's going. I come across a tweet that says, it's so freaking glorious, predictable, and virtually guaranteed. Hypocrites, unintelligent, and proud about it. Matt Flammable. I guess he's getting some good publicity. Does he have a podcast? Yeah, let me see here. All politics is local political science, fintech, Twitter, rabble, rouser. Following 15,000 people, following 12,000, 15,000 followers. So someone who clearly engaged in a follow for follow. In response to, in defense of, Joe Biden wasn't talking about Trump's supporters. He was talking about Trump's supporters' statements. They actually tried to throw in an apostrophe. We'll get to that in a second. He didn't say it, but he's right for having said it. Is the celebration parallax. Joe Biden didn't call all of Trump's supporters garbage, but he's right for having done it. Because according to Matt Flammable, if this is you, you're garbage. Do you guys know where I'm going with this if you follow me on Twitter? It's just impeccable. It's glorious. What do I do? Because I know that the person is a hypocrite. What do I do? Because I know that they're an unintelligent one at that. I just go to Twitter into the search function and I put in the word fuck with this guy's handle. And what do I, first result, baby, Matt Flammable. I almost never curse and have certainly never used the F word on Twitter, but fuck Matt Gaetz, fuck Steve Scalise, fuck GOP leader, fuck Senate, I don't know who that is. And most importantly, fuck Trump. Remember, by the way, if you have a sign that says fuck Biden, you're garbage. So I guess the guy considers himself garbage. And there were even more than that. Then it's just like there were other. And by the way, it starts with, I rarely curse on Twitter, but now let me go curse. Predictable. These are the supporters of the party of joy, the party of freedom, the party of women's rights, the party of consistency, unification, and above all else, total hypocrisy and lack of self-reflection. And it gets a little worse, which we're going to get to after this. V6 Neon, what's up? We got Viva in the Southport death of 3 girls. Oh, kicks. Oh my goodness, I do know what you're talking about. I didn't know it was called the South. That was when they were at the Taylor Swift dance thing. Kickstarted the British backlash. They delayed releasing the info as it would have rallied more at the London 26 march, and Tommy's arrest as attacker was Muslim. Tommy Robinson, who now has been sentenced to 18 months in jail for contempt of court for having repeated the allegedly defamatory statements against that Syrian kid who was allegedly the victim of a racist attack that was neither racist nor an attack. It was a schoolyard fight because he had allegedly threatened to rape the sister of the boy who poured water on his face. And then Tommy Robinson broke the story, prepared a documentary which contained undercover footage, interviewing teachers, staff, getting court records which indicated that this kid was abusive, assaulted other students, was caught in school with a knife and a screwdriver in his backpack, threatened to rape, or at least said he was going to rape the sister of the boy who poured water on his face. Got undercover footage showing that some of the staff were paid to be silent as relates to this story. When he went to court for the defamation case, the judge basically said, I believe the Syrian boy and I don't believe any of the witnesses that Tommy Robinson brought forward, for no better reason than sometimes people lie, and I choose to conclude that they lied, even though the kid who also had a problem of lying, allegedly the Syrian boy, totally believed him. Tommy Robinson, contempt of court for repeating the statements and publishing that documentary, broadcasting it to 50 million people, which obviously embarrassed the regime, which is now suffering the consequences of their horrible immigration policy. Locked away for 18 months, and from what Ezra Levant is saying, in solitary. I think because it's too dangerous for Tommy to be out in the general prison population, given the demographics of the prison population, the Muslim, and I'm saying this without judgment, it's just a matter of fact, the percentage of Muslim inmates who might not like Tommy Robinson very much and might want to shank him. So yeah, that's what's going on in the UK. That actually just covers the subject that we were going to talk about. So now I know exactly what you're talking about because people on the ground knew what was going on. That's why they want to suppress the ability to spread disinformation and misinformation so that they're the only ones who can do it. And by the time the truth comes out, well, then it's too late for anybody to react and mobilize for peaceful political purposes. Tommy is living like a mob boss in that prison. I do not agree with that assessment. If that's intended to mean like the scene from Goodfellas when they're cooking Italian food and living large. All right, well, anyway, so that's what's going on with Tommy Robinson. That was the tangent, but now let's get back to the land of garbage, people, and then we're going to get to Pennsylvania. So if you haven't seen the full video of what Joe Biden said, it's even worse than the 7 to 14 second clip, depending on which one you see on the internet. And it's shocking. I mean, you're dealing with a man who is clearly demented, a man who's clearly reading. Well, the thing is this. He looks like he's reading off a teleprompter, but I have difficulty believing that that was on the teleprompter. But there's a 7 to 14 second clip going around, which doesn't do justice to the absolute, I would say heinousness, but it ultimately politically disastrous statement. It just doesn't do justice to it. So this is the full 50-second clip. And listen to what he says and compare it to what the lying scumbag of a media is now trying to say that he said, and what they actually put in the official White House transcript.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. He's failed businessman. He only cares about the billionaire friends he has and accumulating wealth for those at the top. And he says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. Give me a break. He wants to do away with the birthright citizenship. Who the hell has said that in the last 100 years? And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware.
What the hell is he talking about?
They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've been. Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Pause. Enhance. Replay. Minimize. The only garbage I see out there is his supporters. He says it. Half of the Democrats are saying that's not what he said. He said supporters with an apostrophe S. And the other half are saying he said it and he was right to say it. I don't know how this is not illegal, but when it's Biden's DOJ, you know how it's not going to be prosecuted. Look at this. White House transcript attempts to alter Biden's garbage dig at Trump supporters in desperate bid to spin massive campaign blunder. Now, it's coming from the New York Post, more friendly than not, but you heard it with your own two lying ears, you deplorable garbage Nazi man. You heard it. This is what they tried to write in the transcript. I couldn't get the actual link. I couldn't find it quickly enough, but it's certainly not the story on of the right, yada, yada, yada. It's certainly a story on the right who are trying to paint this as the next basket of deplorables, Lemire said on MSNBC's Morning Joe, referring to Hillary Clinton's yada, yada, yada. Look at this. And just the other day, a speaker at his rally in Puerto Rico called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or a Puerto Rico where I'm from. What the hell is he talking about? First of all, it should not be lost on everybody that apparently for a second he thought he was from Puerto Rico. Or a Puerto Rico where I'm from. In my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, his demonization of Latinos unconscionable, and it's un-American. You have to appreciate, in order to add the hypothesis, the apostrophe, that has to be predicated on the idea that he's referring to Hinchcliffe, presumably. And Hinchcliffe as a supporter of Donald Trump. Hinchcliffe is the comedian who made the joke at the political rally. I don't need to explain this to normal people with half a brain and who are mildly honest. He was not talking about support one person supporters comment. He was talking about Trump supporters. And they are literally in a Orwellian memory holding of reality, now trying to create a lie that in 4 years' time, people are going to say, he never said that. He said he meant the individual supporter, apostrophe S. And you've got people on the internet like the John J. Harwood propagandists of the world who are actually coming out and referring to the rage over Biden, the current sitting president, referring to half of America as garbage, that's phony outrage, while simultaneously feigning phony outrage over a joke of a stand-up comic. This is beyond disaster. Hold on a second. I'm closing the door here. Oh! Dog just rudely meanders in and doesn't close the door behind her. It should be criminal. It should be fraudulent falsification of presidential records. That's what it should be, because that's what it is. You got... and what's going to happen? Nothing. But the bottom line is this also. You got to wonder if he's doing it on purpose. I made a joke like Dark Brandon. This is his moment to be the hero that nobody appreciates. There was an episode of The Outer Limits where this guy's stuck on a space station and it's being invaded by aliens. And in order to save the Earth from the invasion from the aliens, he's got to blow up the whole ship and kill himself. And Earth will never know what a hero he was because they'll never know that he was battling aliens and that he had to blow it up and kill himself to prevent the aliens from landing on Earth. If anybody remembers that actual episode, let me know which one it was, because it was one of the better ones. And then at the end, it has the guy talking over and says, what if in order to be a hero, it meant that no one would ever know that you were the hero? Like, what if Joe Biden's saying, I got to go down as the villain here to save the world from another 4 years of Kamala. All right, I'll take the hit. I'll say something so freaking stupid, it might sink her campaign if it wasn't already sunk. And I'll do it. I don't know. I don't think Joe Biden's even got that level of intellectual acumen. I think he's just an idiot who has deep disdain for Trump supporters and conservative America. He thinks he's right to say it. He thinks it's going to be good that he says it. and he's lost his filter, like many people who are suffering from advanced dementia. But it couldn't have come at a better time if we're being politically honest. I mean, this is just phenomenal. It's like he's saying, yeah, too many people are talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. Too many people are talking about Tim Walz, affirming that he agrees with the comparison between Trump supporters at Madison Square Gardens and Hitler and Nazis. So let me just go in there and like steal the thunder, and the news will be me for the rest of the week. But not to be outdone also. Where was it? Arnie came out and had something to say. Arnold Schwarzenegger. The joke is going to be going on this one, but let me don't read it. Don't read the punchline. Here we go. Arnie comes out, and in a moment of begrudging political honesty, he doesn't normally do endorsements, people, but this time it's really, really important to do an endorsement. Listen to this. I don't really do endorsements. I'm not shy about sharing my views, but I hate politics, and I don't trust most politicians. I hate politics, coming from the former governor of California, and I don't trust most politicians. He's probably right about that. I also understand that people want to hear from me because I am not just a celebrity. I am a former Republican governor. My time as governor taught me to love policy and ignore politics. I'm proud of the work I did to clean up the air, create jobs, yada, 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 yada. That's policy. It requires working with the other side, not insulting them to win your next election. Well, my goodness, Schwarzenegger, did this come out? What time did this come out at? Did this come out October 30th? It came out today. Maybe he doesn't follow the news. Maybe he was sitting in his jacuzzi smoking a cigar and he didn't hear the news. It involves policy, not insulting any idea. And I know it isn't sexy to most people, but I love it when I can help make people's lives better with policies like I still do through my All right. Let's be honest. Let me be honest with you. You're getting lied to right now. I don't like either party right now. My Republicans have forgotten the beauty of the free markets. He's an idiot. Driven up deficits. He's an idiot. And rejected election results. Yeah, well, rejected. Questioned. Democrats aren't any better at dealing with deficits, and I worry about the local policies hurting our cities with increased crime. Okay. Well, you don't know where the hell he's going. Maybe he was going to say, I'm sitting this one out. It's probably not a surprise that I hate politics more than ever, which is why if you're a normal person who isn't addicted to this crap, you probably understand. I want to tune out. But I can't, because rejecting the results of an election is as un-American as it gets. Do we need to cue the 20-minute montage of Democrats calling Trump an unelected, illegitimate president? Maybe. Arnie can't really hear too good with the hot jacuzzi water blocking his eardrums. I'll skip the crap. To someone like me who yada, yada, yada. That's why... And I will always be an American before I am a Republican. That's why this week I am voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. I'm sharing this with all of you because I think there are a lot of you who feel like I do. You don't recognize our country, and you are right to be furious. I don't want to use the retarded word, but this is retarded. You don't recognize our country after 3.5 years of Kamala Harris, so you're voting for Kamala Harris? What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, this is not like, this is beyond stupid. This is incoherent. They, at the very least, say Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have done a good job in office, and we want to continue the progress that they've made. I mean, it's a lie, but at least it's a coherent, cohesive lie. The world's going in the wrong direction. I don't recognize this country, so let me vote for the person who's been at the helm of reshaping it in a way that I don't like. You're an idiot, Schwarzenegger. You're an absolute, I'm not even going to read the rest of this shit. But I just love it. You know where it's going. Schwarzenegger, team up with Kamala. I mean, after the garbage remark, I can see the new slogan. Screw your freedom. Vote Kamala. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I endorse this message. Schwarzenegger is the dude who sat in his jacuzzi in the early days of COVID, smoking his stogie, telling people it's not that bad, just lock down, just shut up for 2 weeks. He's the guy that came out and said to the, what do they call them? COVID skeptics, mask skeptics who turned out to be right. Screw your freedoms. He didn't say freedoms. He said freedom. Screw your freedom. Vote Kamala. I don't like the direction of the country, and I don't trust politicians, and I don't recognize my country anymore. But I will vote for the people who are responsible for destroying it, because I'm worth so much money right now. I can shield myself with their assistance, and I can hide in the mountains of California, smoking my stogies with my private security. I can afford groceries, and I don't have a mortgage. You should vote for Kamala and screw your freedom. Hasta la vista, baby. Idiot. My Arnold Schwarzenegger expression is not very good, yeah? So that's the latest dose of hypocrisy from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Denise Antu, he started to say he's from Puerto Rico and he had to stop himself. Yeah, his hometown of Puerto Rico. I'm down with hey there, my fellow Puerto Rican brothers. How is the things going there? What I love, and I said it before, is like Democrats don't care about anybody until they can use them as a victim for political profit. They don't care about anybody. They don't care that their policies have turned certain cities into shitholes. They don't care that their policies have turned certain territories into shitholes. They don't care that their policies have caused trash problems in certain territories. But if you make fun of them for having a trash problem, then all of a sudden they love you until they don't love you anymore, until they don't need you. And then you are as dead to them as something is something. I don't know. Okay. Ginger Ninja, 1776, the man who made this chessboard behind me over here. In memory of my brother who passed 3 years ago, a strong believer, a great brother, the best of Marines, 2 tours in Afghanistan, IED survivor. You are missed, Nathan David. Until I get to see you again. Ginger Ninja. Thank you. And that's it. Okay. Screw your freedoms. Vote Kamala. Make a trend. Proud. Is it proud to be garbage? Proud garbage? So that's what's going on there in terms of absolutely sabotaging the campaign. But I do have to show you. Do I need to show you the the way they're trying to spin this? Now, let's just see what Marco Rubio said something last night that I said, all right, I like Marco Rubio has matured in the last 8 years.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage.
I love Trump. Look out.
Garbage.
Overly dramatic.
He's talking about the Border Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about nurses.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about teachers. He's talking about everyday Americans who love their country and want to dream big again and support you, Mr. President. And I hope their campaign is about to apologize for what Joe Biden just said. We are not garbage. We are patriots who love America. And thank you for running, Mr. President. I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President.
I got to tell you something. I like Marco Rubio more now. Just like that. Boom. He looks like Superman. Boom. I like it. Imagine deplorables, garbage, Nazis in New York, the elusive New York Jew Nazi dancing in the streets in front of Madison Square Gardens. These people are idiots. They are arrogant, pompous idiots. Think back to that video of Michael Keaton. They don't respect you. They don't want to hang out with you. He was describing himself and the entire capital D Democrat Party. Unions that have supported Trump, police forces that have endorsed Trump. Garbage. Oh, no. But he wasn't talking about supporters. He was talking about that supporter's statement. That supporter, Tony Hinchcliffe. It's laughably stupid, while simultaneously others are embracing the insult. Oh, let me see something here. Oh no, we're not getting to the voter registration yet. Okay, we got there's some there's some election news. Just want to make sure that I've caught all of the issues on this. If anybody cares about it anymore, maybe they don't. We got that. We got this. We got this. All right. Then I'm going to bring this one up. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger. Screw your freedom, vote Kamala. You've got Aaron Parnas. His father's famous. I don't know who. Aaron Parnas, okay, is a lawyer, Florida Atlantic, Washington, D.C., attorney strategist, views of my own retweets, endorsements, and then the Jewish star. I don't understand what that avatar is. A lot of people seem to have it. Aaron Parnas, you guys would know who his father is. I can Google that in a second. I am 25 years old, and I just voted for the only candidate who cares about the Jewish people, Kamala Harris. Go to iwillvote.com and make a plan to vote today. Now, I don't buy into this bullshit. I don't like. I hate it. There's not a political decision that I've made that has been influenced, for right or for wrong, by my being born Jewish. So it's not like because I'm supporting Kamala and a Jew, it somehow makes it more valid than someone who's Jewish and is a traitor to the race. And the fact that I support and believe Donald Trump needs to and must and will win this, that belief is no more valid or valuable by virtue of the fact that I was born Jewish. I hate it. But once you're going to raise the argument, I'm going to destroy you for it, you idiot Aaron Parnas. Okay, you think that she cares about the Jewish people. Yeah, you remember this? This evening, my family and I will be observing the Passover holiday. With rising anti-Semitism, this is a tweet from what's his face, Aaron Parnas. With rising anti-Semitism around the world, including at Columbia in America under Kamala and Biden. This was tweeted on April 22nd, 2024. And over 100 hostages being held captive in Gaza and politicians abandoning the Jewish people. It is scarier than ever to be Jewish. This is what we call cognitive dissonance. You want to believe something, and you also simultaneously believe something that would be the philosophical, political, ideological opposite of what you want to believe. I really want to support Kamala Harris, but there's rising anti-Semitism over the world, including at Columbia University. Over 100 hostages being held, some of them American, being murdered while in captivity because the current administration has done jack shit to secure their release. And politicians abandoning the Jewish people. Which politicians? Could it be like Kamala Harris when she says that Israel is guilty of genocide? It's real. Kamala Harris appears to say Israel committing genocide in Gaza. This is from the Jerusalem Post, which, unless I'm mistaken, is pretty left-leaning in Israel. I think it is. I think the Jerusalem Post is the equivalent of, maybe that's Haaretz. I'm pretty sure the Jerusalem Post is basically as left as the CNN. Listen, what he's talking about, it's real. It's real. That's not the subject that I came to discuss today, but it's real, and I respect his voice talking about genocide in Israel. Let me rephrase. About Israel committing genocide against the Palestinians. Now, people are going to say, if either you're a Jew, you're defending Israel blindly, you're a Zionist, Mossad agent, whatever. First of all, go to hell if you're going to say that. You're an idiot. If I get criticized for anything, it's being criticizing Israel. And this is an argument where I don't have to agree with you on the substance of the argument. I will do what I always do, which is the best way to argue something. I will agree with your premise. You're going to say, Viva, she's right. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people. Okay, fine. I disagree, but let's just say I agree. Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian people. Do you think her saying that is going to increase or decrease anti-Semitic incidents or anti-Semitism in America? You're obviously going to say, well, it's obviously going to increase it, Viva, but what's increasing the anti-Semitism is not Kamala Harris saying that there's genocide. It's the act of genocide that you believe is being committed by Israel against the Palestinians. Okay, fine. I think nonetheless that you would be able to concede that, let's just say that Kamala Harris said she's a liar, or hiding the fact, if you want to believe it. The bottom line, everybody would agree that simultaneously, if there is bona fide genocide, that will cause a backlash of sentiment. If a politician comes out and agrees that there is, that will certainly increase the sentiment that Aaron Parnas is complaining about. So this guy is saying anti-Semitism is on the rise. You got the candidate that he's supporting now saying Israel's committing genocide in so many words. And then this idiot comes out and says, I'm supporting Kamala Harris because of, what did he say? Now I totally forgot what the original tweet said. Aaron Parnas can't even keep up with the stupidity. I'm 25 years old, and I just voted for the only candidate who cares about the Jewish people. Someone's going to say, yes, she cares about the Jewish people, and it's tough love. So she's going to rightly say Israel's committing genocide because she cares about the Jewish people. I can steel man all of these arguments myself all day long. The bottom line is anybody who says that agreeing that Israel is committing genocide does not correlate to an increase in anti-Semitic incidents across the world, we will have to disagree on our assessment of reality. And Aaron Parnas is an idiot who actually is voting against the very interest that he purports to be voting for. So Aaron Parnas, congratulations, you're an idiot. I don't even get into the discussion anymore. Merchant Marine in our locals when he says all Hamas has to do is surrender and release the hostages and all this horrible war will end. Some will say that's not enough because they've already killed too many. I said and took some flack from the beginning. I said, okay, Israel's intelligence obviously failed on October 7th. I mean, it was obviously, if it wasn't deliberate or let it happen on purpose, it was at the most charitable, the most egregious security failure, intelligence failure in Israel's history. people come around today and say, my goodness, Israel's intelligence is so good. Look what they did with those the pager incidents. That's amazing. That's amazing how they managed to get explosive incendiary devices into pagers, get those pagers into the hands of terrorists, and then simultaneously apparently cause the batteries to overheat, to cause the incendiary devices in those pagers to explode, killing terrorists by the dozen. Amazing. Amazing how they did that. And amazing how October 7 happened. Oh, they took out the intelligence, they took out surveillance, so that's how the bulldozers and paragliders got out. Paragliders. So yeah, simultaneously saying Israel's got the most wildly advanced intelligence, that they got explosive pagers to blow up, and yet that sophisticated intelligence allowed for the catastrophic intelligence failure of October 7. Forgive me for having questions that I think ought to have been answered before the response was determined. And I said from day one, Netanyahu, you screwed up. You lost. This is bad. You do whatever you need. You release whatever prisoners you have in jail and let those hostages go, and then you figure out how to deal with this afterwards. Once you figured out where the intelligence failure was. Oh, and I get flack for saying that. Hold on 1 second. Bottom line, the discussion is not useful to have anywhere because nobody is engaging it with any point of understanding. Oh, here you go. Viva playing dumb. A valuable, insightful comment that is surely conducive to even identifying what the hell you're talking about. But so that's it. Aaron Parnas is voting for Kamala, despite her being responsible for a rise in anti-Semitism. And the man who said, screw your freedom, is voting for Kamala. So you add it to the list of dirty party goers of the P. Diddy nature, the war criminal Dick Cheneys, the traitors Liz Cheney. Add to them now the screw your freedom nanny bangers Schwarzenegger and the idiots who don't know how to protect their own interests, even following their own logic. Okay, now I think we're done on the garbage. I don't think there's anything more to talk about on that. Let us get to what's going on in Pennsylvania. So there's been some chicanery afoot. I'm trying to ping Scott Preston, but I know that he's beyond busy and beyond overwhelmed. So I'm not taking it personally. You got to not take anything personal in life to the extent that it's humanly possible. I would love Scott to come on and explain what's going on there and give the rundown of Pennsylvania. But there were videos coming out of Pennsylvania yesterday that were showing chicanery being afoot. There's chicanery afoot, I tell you. And this is one such video coming from Jack Posobiec, and there's a number of them. The problem is there's a lot of information to digest, and cripe almighty, hold on 1 second, I can't find there's a lot of information to digest, and there's a lot of fog of war confusion. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. This woman gets to they had early voting. By the way, this has since been resolved since we started, not since I set this stream up. There's been a court order resolving this. They had early voting, which from what I understand ended yesterday. And it was supposed to end yesterday at 4:30. Early voting, you wait in line and you vote early in person. By the way, everyone, I won't tell you who to vote for. I'll just tell you what you get if you vote for Kamala Harris. You get a future that looks like the United Kingdom. You get journalists locked up for 18 months. You get censored. You get political persecutions. And you get weaponized Department of Justice going after your political adversaries and their supporters. Vote accordingly. But get out there and vote, because this is the most consequential election in the history of America that will determine the future. Hold on. I'm actually going to stop for 1 second. Donald Trump is still in this by the breath of some form of divine intervention. If that does not inspire you to get out there and vote for the man who, but for the grace of God, would not be here in the alternate universe that this world was supposed to be right now, nothing will get your lazy butt out of your chair to go vote. I'm Canadian. I cannot vote. I would have been out there not taking selfies because it's illegal in certain states. If that is that you have the miracle of being able to vote for Donald Trump right now, if that entire incident didn't change your perspective of the world and the universe in which we live to motivate you to get your ass out of your seat and go vote, nothing will. And it should, and it will, November 5th. and early voting weren't successful. So Pennsylvania, they had early voting, and they get to the line out of the person's walking, and apparently they cut the line. They said, no, sorry, I know the voting is supposed to go until 4:30. We've cut it now. I'll just play the video so no one
until 4:30.
No one accuses me of misrepresenting. Okay.
Talk to this. Are they going to turn everyone down?
I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I get you.
Why is it closed?
Let me explain to you.
Please.
Let me explain to you.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
Doesn't matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the right to
why
vote.
it had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this. Slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have to
had
wait till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut.
Slow and grueling. Now, I've never, well, have I ever, no, I've participated in federal elections. I have some mild experience with the political process. It's a freaking early voting line. Agreed. Okay. It's going to be slow. I don't know what grueling, maybe waiting out in the hot sunlight. I can appreciate that. Slow and grueling. It's also the election. It's also voting. It's slow and grueling. Okay. Well, you're just going to have to pull a Hillary Clinton and power through it. Slow and grueling. So what do? And I'm not trying to make fun of this officer. I don't know which side he's on. I don't know if he's saying this because he can't believe that it's happening, or he's a Democrat operative trying to prevent Republicans from voting early in Pennsylvania.
Cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Here's
This is voter fraud, by the way.
No, it's
who
not.
Yes, it is.
But I think actually
voter
voter fraud.
protection. I heard about that on X. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I further just appreciate that. I heard about that on X. It's a stat that I don't think many people fully appreciate, but I've said it and I'll say it again. 108 million Americans are on X. There is no, I mean, Rumble is the bee's knees. Rumble is my home. That's insane. That is reach. Now, it's true. There's a lot of bots. So I don't know. There's a lot of probably American bots. There's a lot of Democrats who are there for, their shit posting and their silos. But if you're talking about a platform that has the reach of America, there's no other platform on earth. When you talk about Rumble's reach and you have 200,000, 300,000 people watching Dan Bongino, 50, 80,000 watching Steven Crowder, 50, 60,000 watching Tim Pool, however many thousand are watching us right now, you are, and by and large, it's going to be a North American audience. You're reaching an impossible amount of people under traditional legacy media who had a monopoly over the access to information. It's amazing that that's what this person on the street is saying. She took to Twitter, and the next day, legal results. We'll get there.
Protection. Let's see what
Contact the county commissioners to complain.
This is, and so you don't think this is voter fraud? This is voter fraud.
It's early voting, and we're shutting it down early. Sorry, I know it's supposed to go until 4:45, but 4:30.
See that, everyone?
We're shutting it down at 1:45 because it's slow and grueling.
They cut the line.
Look at that cute little dog over there. That cute little dog right there. Okay.
So 4:30. Election fraud.
All right.
Here in Bucks County.
There's a number of other stories coming out. Apparently, phony people posing as vote inspectors. I forget what the exact word is. And now, bottom line, that was occurring. Jack Poso on it. Let me see here. Before we get to that, actually, here. Listen to this. Listen to how the MSM, with their non-existent form of monopoly over the media, a clumsy early voting option has backed up election offices in Pennsylvania and frustrated voters. This was from yesterday. The new procedure in Pennsylvania is leading to hours-long lines as voters swamp county offices that aren't prepared to handle the influx before Election Day. Geez, Shapiro. I mean, I don't want to blame Shapiro, but I'm going to because I don't know who else to blame or who else would be responsible for this. It's not like you had 4 years to prepare for this. My goodness. It's not like early voting, I presume, went much smoother when you didn't know that it was more Republicans than Democrats early voting. It's clumsy. If this were Republicans doing it to conservatives because Republicans doing it to Democrats, it would be voter disenfranchisement. You'd have Mark Elias sobbing like a little biatch on the internet, crying about how the Republicans are trying to disenfranchise Democrats of their votes. But the other way around, you know that it's disproportionately Republican, clumsy. Coming from PBS propaganda. Clumsy, time-consuming early voting, yada, yada. The confusion is partly the result of Pennsylvania law passed just before the pandemic, and partly from crowds of Republican voters heeding to calls by their party and former President Donald Trump to vote early. Trump's entreaties. Sorry, hold on one second. I just want to make sure I look up entreaties. I know what it means under the context, but it's an earnest and humble request. Yeah. Trump's entreaties, I say, to his supporters to cast a ballot before November 5th come after he repeatedly attacked forms of early voting in previous. Do you appreciate that this is all bullshit political editorializing? It's a clumsy process that now they understand is affecting disproportionately Republican voters because they're voting early now because Trump complained about early voting earlier, but now is asking his voters to vote early. What a hypocrite. How about you just get the system to work, you freaking idiots? In the seat of the suburban yada yada, often seen as a political bellwether. In the seat of suburban Philadelphia's Bucks County, often seen as a political bellwether, voters waited up to 3 hours on Tuesday, the final day to apply for a mail ballot. Why the change from 4 years ago? Yada. Okay, who cares? Because he told us to vote early. I was trying to make it too big to rig. They're blaming them. Why are you voting early? He said make it too big to rig. Oh, hey, and what are you doing that right now? Looks like you might be rigging it. They're not rigging it. Don't black pill, don't despair. Get out there and vote and make this happen. And then make the stories surface and make them get confirmed correct by the courts. So yeah, that's why I'm voting at the courthouse and wanted to have my vote in person. The early voting angst is the latest dust-up over voting in Pennsylvania, which has the largest trove of electoral votes of any battleground state and is by far the state most visited by the Democrat and Republican candidates, yada, yada, yada. Culprit of the latest controversy is a law that the Pennsylvania legislature, then controlled by Republicans, passed in 2019 in an attempt to expand mail-in voting. They created a system for early voting, very different than in most other states, where registered voters can go to vote at a center in the county and cast a ballot before Election Day. Instead, the on-demand voting, yada, yada. Okay, it's a process that can take up to about 12 minutes per voter if everything goes right. Voters have the option of filling out the ballot on the spot and turning it in to, okay, fine, yada, yada. Bottom line, let's see here, go down, scroll down. As early voting drew to a close, Republican lawmakers said in a letter to Bucks County officials that they had fielded complaints from voters about the county office closing over the weekend while people were still in line to apply for a mail-in ballot. In a statement posted to his website, Bucks County said it may need to stop taking applicants to ensure all applications are processed by the end of the day. Okay. Quote, when you're told that, yes, you can go do early voting by someone, and then you show up and do what you're told, well, no, you can't do early voting. You know, voters aren't sure who to believe, he said. Okay, well, you can believe the courts. Let's go over to Jack Posobiec, who tweeted out, breaking, we just won in Bucks County. Judge orders county to extend early voting until Friday by 5 p.m. in Bucks after violating state election code. Doing your job for you. Josh Shapiro. That's news coming from Jack Poso, and the news in the news is Associated Press. We don't really need to get into this. Oh my goodness. Come on in. Judge extends early voting option in a suburban Philadelphia after Trump's campaign sued. And we know what it is. Let's see here. Okay, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania judge on Wednesday sided with Donald Trump's campaign and agreed to extend in-person voting option in suburban Philadelphia, where long lines on the final day led to complaints that voters were being disenfranchised by an unprepared election office. They only had 4 effing years to prepare. Maybe if they spend less time trying to, leave a roof unsecured to take care of their voting woes, maybe they should have put a little more effort into this. I don't know. I want to blame Shapiro. He's the buck should stop with him. So let's go ahead and do that. One pager. Voters who want to vote early have until Friday. Trump's campaign's lawsuit, which was filed Wednesday morning, comes amidst a flurry of litigation in the battleground state. It sought a 1-day extension through Wednesday for voters to apply in person. The judge's order permits applications through the close of business Friday. Neighboring Lee County on Tuesday asked the judge to extend the deadline there by 1 day through Wednesday because road closures in downtown Allentown and around Trumps Valley blocked access to the election. The judge agreed. Get out there and vote, people. Make it not too big to rig, not beat the cheat. Make it humiliating. Make it decisive. Make it a popular vote decisive. They're going to have to shut up and agree and understand that they've been a vocal minority and not anything of a form of a representative majority. John S says, I can't be talking about the roof. It was sloped. That's why it was a security hazard to have counter snipers on the roof. What we lived through is beyond description. John S over in CommieTube says 145 when the cutoff is 4:30. Bullshit. It says BS. I could see if they cut it at 4. They can't cut it. I would see them extending it because I think they would have to. Bottom line, it's extended until Friday. They know damn well. I mean, first of all, who would even have contested that? Did Mark Elias contest it? Sorry, guys, rules are rules. Voting's cut off. No. Who would even contest it? It's clearly, demonstrably, statistically overrepresented by Republicans. Keep it up, keep it out, and get going. And Scott Pressler, who tweeted out that he's not sure his body's going to handle this all the way through to Election Day. It's that old saying of 2 sets of footprints on the beach and then going to one. You will get carried through this, but keep going. John S says, not CS. Oh, Nazis in New York sounds like a movie title, like Nazi moon base or something. I guess you have to misspell Nazi so that it gets through the YouTube algorithm. Big Dog Mama, $10 says, isn't it obvious one man's party's trash garbage is another man's party's treasure? That's a good one. Okay. So good news out of Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be slow to retweet or republish other information that might turn out to be false because I'd rather be late than wrong on the fog of war information. But that's going on. Oh, and we got Biltong in the house. Biltong, I'm going to get the full screen here if I can. I don't think I can anymore. Excuse me. Yes, I can. Yes, we can. Biltong in the house with a $30 crumble rant. Garbage Human says, add biltong to your diet as a high-protein snack alternative packed with B12, zinc, iron, creatine, and more. Get yourself some at biltongusa.com. Viva 10 for 10% off. All right, so we got that white pill of a court decision. Barnes, during the Bourbon with Barnes last night, didn't have the benefit of time because that ruling came down today. He's like, yep, aware of what's going on in Pennsylvania. We'll see how the courts rule. So that's the news. Early voting extended to Friday. Okay, I guess this is also election related, people. I have not read this article through yet. Gosh, it's unwatchable on these websites. But looky over here. The title says ABC, quote, mistakenly, end quote, airs election results sparking wild conspiracy theories. And there, I don't know what state they're looking at where it's 3 million. I know I'm going to predict what the excuse is going to be by the scoundrels who are pathological liars, that they were running a graphic, either that this is an old graphic. Yeah, I'm going to go with old graphic. Or that they were running, they were running systems and they had to have a graphic in. And so someone just put this together just for the sake of it. I'm predicting old graphic that was reused. Okay. ABC, let's hear what this says. And we got to rely on the liars to tell us the truth. ABC has sparked a wild conspiracy theories after mistakenly airing election results for Pennsylvania. The results appeared on the ticker along the bottom of the screen during a broadcast of the Formula One Mexico Grand Prix. It showed Kamala Harris taking the state with 52% of the votes, while Donald Trump share was, you know what? Now I'm an idiot. That couldn't have been an old one because that's Harris. I'm an idiot. Let me scratch that. It's going to be, they just made it for the sake of the image. Let's see what it is. It instantly prompted claims of rigging. I love it. They aired the results and they're seemingly blaming the people who are saying this is rigged. I mean, you've got to be a special level of liar to do that. Instantly prompted claims of election rigging on social media, with one person tweeting the cheat is on. How else would you explain it? Let's just see. They said the numbers came up on the screen in error and that they had been randomly generated as part of a test ahead of election. Okay, guys, I'm right. Should have just gone with the first one. What an idiots the others are. Okay, I guess it could have been like they changed the names and they're airing old election results. So they're setting it up. Okay, it's not rigged. Hold on. They randomly generated the numbers? How do they do that? I mean, just I would love to test their explanation. Did they like go to Google and say, give me 2 numbers? Did they randomly just pick that number? Okay, so they randomly generated. Okay, let's see what's going down here. Trump is currently leading the state by 0.6%, which means he's probably leading by 5 to 10-fold, but don't let that convince anybody to sit on your laurels. Biden won Pennsylvania by the narrowest of margins, beating Trump by 80,000 votes, 1.17%. Okay, let me see here. In response to the thing, if the same graphics pop up on November 5th with the same percentages and the same vote count, it'll be extremely suspicious. It won't be extremely suspicious. It'll be obvious. And the media wonders why nobody trusts them. Another said, ABC is cheating for the Democrat machine. Their license should be revoked. In a statement from the broadcaster, those numbers should not have appeared on the screen. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, it was an error. Okay, no shit, Sherlock. The numbers seen on the screen were randomly generated test results sent out to help news organizations make sure their equipment is working properly in advance of election nights. And what kind of picture did they take of Donald Trump? Save image, these mother. I'm telling you, it's not photoshopped. That I'm going to find the original of that photo, and it ain't going to look like that. They sharpened that, and they enhanced the color contrast on that and the saturation. I'm going to do this with locals afterwards. Anybody with a mild knowledge of photography knows what a sharpened image looks like, knows what color contrast looks like, and knows where it's unnatural. These motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I'm just going to screen grab the whole thing in context. Okay. So that's the news of the day. Perimeters are always shaped like Pac-Man and not a circle, and stores always close their doors 3 hours before closing them. You are crazy for questioning it, says Encryptus. Google the Pac-Man perimeter. I mean, the security failure for the Butler failed assassination attempt, successful murder plot, is the excuse is as implausible as innocuous intelligence failure on October 7th. The perimeter, I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. I brought it up with Jack Posobiec. They called it the Pac-Man perimeter. It's not a circle. It was a Pac-Man with a portion carved out for the AGR roof. And they expect you to believe that was the secure perimeter. They secured the perimeter by literally cutting out of the secure perimeter the roof at 140 yards from which a would-be assassin, training at a shooting range involving lots of FBI and CIA and police forces had access to for a solid, there was 90 seconds of screaming, close to 2 minutes of screaming before the first shots rang out, and they want to tell us. Just a series of mistakes, people. All right. A story that I covered the other day that there's an update on. Look at that. Hold on. Here. Okay. We're going to get to the story, my joke, and the update. Mary L. Trump, she's just a psychopath, and doesn't matter. You think we're being hyperbolic when we say our democracy is under attack. This is what we mean. And then where do we go? We got to go all the way down. Yeah, it was hit this morning. Okay, okay, fine. So NBC News. All right. So now we got to go all the way back. So you think we're being hyperbolic when they say our democracy is under attack? I reported on this. And I say yes, because setting drop boxes on fire in states that went to Biden by nearly 20% is exactly what a Trump supporter would do. It's totally not something a radical lefty would do in a state where they know burning a drop box would have zero impact, except for allowing them to cry victim. You really are stupid, Mary. Then, as the story developed, they announced that they had not a suspect, but a vehicle. And the vehicle was a Volvo. To which I said, suspect is driving a Volvo. Guaranteed lefty. Bookmark this. I am predicting someone throwing a brick through their own window for a fundraising tactic. Back it up. And that's the end of that thread. What's the news of the day? From what I understand, they haven't issued an arrest, but they have news that, let me see, this is one. Incendiary devices that burned ballot boxes carried free Gaza messages, AP source says. Radical lefty people Incendiary devices found at the scene of a ballot drop box fires in Portland, Oregon, and nearby Vancouver, Washington this week were marked with the words "Free Gaza," according to a law enforcement official. Driving a Volvo, radical lefties. They're going to find these people. And if they turn out to be Trump supporters or bona fide registered Republicans, I will eat this doggy poop bag because it's biodegradable and I know at least it'll come out. But although the microplastics might interrupt my endocrine product or whatever. Incendiary devices found at the ballot box, yada, yada, yada. They had "Free Gaza" written on them. A third device placed at a different drop box in Vancouver earlier this month also carried the words "Free Palestine" in addition to "Free Gaza," said the official, who spoke on condition of anonymity. They were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation, trying to identify the people who suspected arson attacks. It's early. There's a lot of fog of war, and maybe this story is going to turn out to be bunk. But setting fire to drop boxes in a heavily, virtually automatically Democrat state is not something that even a nefarious, bad faith, right-wing, conservative GOP, MAGA, extreme MAGA Republican would do. Just a matter of pure logic. So prediction, turning out to be accurate. Now I can understand some people are going to say this is a double fakie. It was actually Mossad planting the Free Gaza incendiary devices to make it look like the Free Gaza movement is a terrorist organization that is going to sabotage the elections for their own political profit. We can go back and forth. And then you can have it being the double, super, double, mega, triple fakie. Who knows? But anyways, that was the news. And I wanted to bring it up because I was right in my prediction. And people, I think we did it. What did I say that we were going to do on locals? I forget now. But let's see what this one was. I brought.
We have breaking news now from the Supreme Court, which is allowing the state of Virginia to move ahead with a purge of its voter rolls. This is after a lower court had found that the purge was happening too close to Election Day. Let's get more from NBC's Ken Delaney and fill us in here, Ken.
They're purging.
Yeah,
the voter
conservatives on the Supreme Court are allowing this purge to go forward. That not only a federal district judge, but the appeals court deemed was illegal under federal law after the Justice Department sued Virginia. And the issue...
But do you see what he said there? That not only the lower court, but the Court of Appeal, as though it's a question of number of the lower courts to overturn or override or dictate the rulings of the Supreme Court. There's a reason why lower courts are lower courts and Supreme Court is the Supreme Court. And it's not because the Supreme Court is bound by whatever the majority decision-making of the lower courts was. It's because the judges have greater expertise, have more experience, and the lower courts are lower both in status and legal precedent. There's a reason why Supreme Court decisions bind the lower courts and not vice versa, you propagandist jackass. Mi scusi for swearing.
And the issue here is that federal law says you can't purge voter rolls within 90 days of an election. Virginia is saying that these people are all non-citizens based on a form that they filled out at the motor vehicle department. But
they're saying they're non-citizens based on what the non-citizens qualified themselves as in documents that they submitted to the... Okay, that's fine. It's fine. We can't win everybody's mind. It's
department, but there have been validated citizens among these people who have talked to reporters and showed them their passports. There are U.S. citizens among these 1,600 people, and they have now been purged from the voter rolls. Now, Virginia.
We have breaking news now from the.
Anyways, bottom line, Barnes and I talked about it last Sunday. The number is not significant. It's a political victory, but now it also seems to be a legal victory. Where on the one hand, you had Democrats running around saying non-citizens are being improperly purged from the rolls. Non-citizens, how do you know that they're non-citizens? Well, they say they're non-citizens because the non-citizen identified themselves as non-citizen at the DMV. But it's not going to be statistically determinate. It's almost a political discussion, a political matter for a political profit and not for actual election determination outcome. But nonetheless, good. All right, now let's see something here. We're going to go over to donation. We're good. Oh, no, we got Boopsy in the house who says, this is over on our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Any child and or random criminal-minded or even a drunk or a high person can drop something into those drop boxes, whether a match or a milkshake. The ballots are vulnerable there. Drop boxes are stupid. You are 1000% correct, Boopsy. And one of my brothers, once upon a time when we were kids, has nothing to do with voting, in a moment of sheer stupidity, threw a milkshake out into a mailbox and not a garbage can because he thought it was like a moment, threw it. And we've always tormented him, saying, like, you might have spilled your milkshake on someone's love letter that was going to unify long lost lovers across the world. And it'll never get there. But he always felt bad for it. But you're 1000% right. Drop boxes in the open are absolute stupidity security hazards and should not be tolerated under any circumstances, period. Sammy says, you wanted to look at the picture of Trump to see if it was Dr. Viva. Thank you, Sammy. We're doing it. We're doing it. And if anybody wants to see how smart or stupid I am, you're going to have to come over to vivawarrenslaw.locals.com. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats over on CommuTube. Everybody, make sure that you are subscribed. You have notifications turned on before you leave. If you want to come over, it's going to be supporters only today. I'll give everybody the link. If you want to support us on Locals, it's $10 a month, $100 a year if you get the whole year. And it's the best above average community out there. We do an after party. We do exclusive stuff for supporters, but also the vast majority of everything that goes on Locals is for everybody, all members, including non-financial supporting members. So if you want to come over, come on over. If you do not want to come over, I will see you. Well, I'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. Hold on. The Unusual Suspects. I don't know if the link is up yet. Let me see. They're only on YouTube. I don't know why they don't use Rumble. I'm going to have to needle Patrick Bet-David and get them to you don't even have to leave. You just come on over to Rumble. Unusual Suspects of Viva Frei. I don't know if the link is set up yet. Let's see here. Menendez Brothers. So the link is not yet up, but I'll give everybody the link to the channel so you can come and watch tonight's episode. Watch it, drop some love, and let them know how you got there, and let me know what you think of my hosting. I might be doing it again Friday, so we'll see. Everybody, thank you for being here. I will be live. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be live at 12:30 tomorrow. And Friday, we'll have to see how the schedule turns out. So with that said, can you believe by this time next week, we're going to know what America we're living in? An America that's barreling towards commie United Kingdom at an exponential black hole event horizon rate, or an America that is, oh my goodness, it's like it's been struck by the meteor of fate and been projected into the direction of make America healthy again with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Make America efficient again with Elon Musk. Make America just again with Tulsi Gabbard. Make America smart again with Vivek Ramaswamy. Make America the best run country again with J.D. Vance as vice president to Donald John Trump as president. It's already written, people. We just have to live through the moment. So, God willing, God bless, Godspeed. Get out there. Vote like the future of your republic. Constitutional republic depends on it because it does. Okay. And I've used my best.